I would like to make a picture of this Mossberg 500B. B as in boy. I don't know if I could get this focused in. There you go, 500B right there. I didn't know they were quite rare, but this is the 16 gauge model. See if I could give you a video shot of this. Okay, this is again the 16 gauge. It's not the 20 gauge, it's not the 12 gauge. Maybe a lot of you out there has never heard of a 16 gauge because it is rare for a Mossberg 500. These, I think, were made between the years of 1961 and 1962. They made them for about a couple years. You can see it has the original Mossberg recoil pad, the rubber pad. Of course, the tang safety. That's what that's called, is a tang safety. It is a pump. Now, this one here, which is kind of sad, but it was cut, and I'll show you the writing here. Originally it said 28-inch modified choke, 2 3/4. So you can see the 28-inch right here. There's the 16 gauge right there. Made in USA. That's the only thing it says on the barrel. And I think there's a proof mark. Where was the proof mark? I know there was a proof mark somewhere. Might have been under here, because since I took this apart to clean. But it has a jewel bolt. Focus that in. See the jewel bolt, which is nice. So Mossbergs are really, really well built, especially the older ones, like any of the firearms out there. But usually we do have our makes that we love, and these are very, very dependable, and they come in many, many different configurations, I mean. But this one particular configuration, like I said, was only made for a couple of years, and it is a 16 gauge. So they didn't make the 16 gauge for quite so many years. So if you come across one, grab it up. It does have some scratches, some marks on it. It has been used, but it's in really good shape, and it's very well taken care of. But like I said, the saddest thing is originally this was a 28-inch barrel, and it is cut down to 25 inches. You know, you could cut it back to 18.5, which would be like around there. Between 18.5 and 20 inches is great for self-defense, home protection. But even 25, it's not bad. It doesn't have a beaded sight put on it since it's been cut down, but it was done a pretty good job. It was done, I don't know what that is, maybe, oh, that's just dirt. But it was done pretty good. Many years ago, I think, probably it was cut. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a nice little brass beaded sight on it. I'm not going to put those sticky, you know, glow-in-the-dark ones or Trulos, whatever you call them. I'm not going to put that on there. I just want to keep it kind of original. Drill a hole and put a brass beaded sight in there. But it's in nice shape. It's not loaded. Now when you want to engage the pump or bring it back, here's the release button right there, just like a regular Mossberg 500. So let me see if I could do it with one hand. There we go. So I'll show you. It's a little dirty. Needs a little bit more cleaning. Try to get a little focus. There you go. Needs a little bit more scrubbing. So when you pump it back, just like any other pump shotgun, it brings the lever down for the catch to bring back a shell, and then it brings the shell up into the chamber. just grabs it in. So I'm not going to do it, but you know, if you don't know how to do it, well then don't handle firearms. You know, go get some professional training. So there you go. Just want to put another video out there. I think there's only one video on this 16 gauge. It is walnut. It has a walnut forearm, the walnut stock, as you can see. Again, it does have some minor marks, little imperfections, but you know, it's character. I don't like perfect firearms. I mean, I just love, I guess it's just like getting an antique anything, you know, whether you get an antique dresser or hutch or a piece of furniture or any kind of furniture. You want character in it, you know. You want to try to dream and think what the story is behind this thing. Like, where was it? Who had it? Who owned it? How was it worked? You know, I mean, especially something like this in 1961, 62. I mean, this has been around. You know, how many pheasants were shot with this? How many rabbits? You know, I mean, ducks. But they did cut the barrel down for some reason, and you know, it is easier to carry in the field. And if you're still a good shot, you can still get a duck or a pheasant with it. But these days, there's no pheasants. I mean, I used to go hunting a lot in my 20s and 30s, and I used to see pheasants all the time. And then, I guess towards my mid to late 30s, that's when you started not seeing them anymore, and they were then farm raised and let loose on the state game lands and farms, and that's all you would hunt is farm raised pheasants, which was terrible. I mean, because you'd have to kick them and to make them fly up in the air. You know, the wild pheasants, you couldn't even get 20 feet, 30 feet away from them, and boom, you know, they would fly, and then you'd have a challenge of getting them. But today you have to kind of kick them to get up in the air. And it's sad, so I really don't go pheasant hunting anymore, or any of that, really. Rabbits were kind of a challenge, but again, today, they're just starting to come back. They're just starting to come back, the rabbits, in 2017, 18, and 19. And but for quite a few years there, you didn't even see any rabbits. Okay, 16 gauge is a nice shotgun. I mean, it's... Again, if you don't know about your gauges, you know, there used to be a 8 gauge, 10 gauge, 12, 16, 20. It's just a really nice shotgun shell. It's an in-between, you know, the 12 and the 20. It's just versatile. It's very useful. A lot of people would disagree, but you know, you get less of a recoil kick on the 16 gauge, and of course the 20. But my favorite is a 410. I love the 410, and you could get some really good 410 shells that will do just as a good job as a 12 gauge and a 20 gauge. I mean, it's like it's amazing what we have now. But a lot of the riot setup shotguns are 410. But if you ever come across one of these, like I said, they're very rare. There wasn't very many made. I don't know what happened to them all. They're probably in barns and closets and that are still in old houses, and people just haven't gotten rid of them. I mean, for what you see out there, you might come up with 1, 2 a year that are for sale, unless you go to private estates to get a hold of a 16 gauge Mossberg 500B. I do have the 500 AB also, and the regular 500. I do have a 500, I think it's another 500 AB 410. I believe that they were made in the 80s. But this is really something, the 16 gauge. And you can still interchange if you ever found a 16 gauge barrel, you know, longer, or the 18.5 inch, or the 28, or I think they made a 30 inch in the 16. You could interchange it because it just unscrews just right here, just like a regular Mossberg 500. Very easy to take down. Okay, that's it. I don't know what else to say about it, but it's pretty nice. I've still got my Christmas tree up. There you go. I'll just take another close setup here for you guys. Some of the bluing is a little wear on it, but again, it adds character to the firearm. One thing I do want to mention: a lot of people don't like these plastic trigger guards. You can get a metal one. They do sell one, and I think I'm pretty sure that's interchangeable if you wanted to change it, but I had a lot of Mossberg 500s, and I never had one break. The only time I think it would break is if you abuse it. You hit it against a rock or a tree, and maybe in time they'll start to crack. I don't know, but that's the only thing. But all right, there you go. And there's no serial number on this. So pre-1968, a lot of the firearm companies didn't have to use serial numbers, so there is no serial number at all on this particular shotgun. There you go, guys.